Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. You're with True Crimes Files. So I'm just wondering where my picture's gone. Let me see if I can bring up a picture, bear with. There we go. It's not the one I wanted, but hey ho. Elijah View. Such a really sad case. I'll try and explain a little bit about him. Elijah was a young boy from Two Rivers whose disappearance in February 2024 sparked a major research and effort widespread public concern. Elijah was 3 years old when he was reported missing on the 20th of February 24. He was last seen at the residence in Two Rivers where he had been staying. The two adults responsible for his caregiving gave conflicting and concerning accounts of what had happened. And then it soon went from a missing child to suspicious, and not quite a simple one. Allegations, investigations and arrests. Police launched a large-scale search involving law enforcement, FBI, hundreds of volunteers, and then the two adults connected to Elijah were arrested and charged with obstructing an investigation and child neglect. These charges came in after investigators believed Elijah had been placed in unsafe conditions prior to his disappearance. They searched everywhere for him. They literally did. They searched woods, fields, rivers, abandoned places like sheds and things. It was, it is really a bad case. But eventually, it was in September the 7th, sorry. Remains were found human remains were found by a deer hunter in a remote wooded area of Kirsty Blob Lane. It was about 3 miles from where he had gone missing. And then obviously they had to do DNA testing to see if the remains belonged to little Elijah. And shortly after they confirmed it was, the Amber Alerts were cancelled, and then it moved from a missing child to an investigation to, bring to justice the person who caused his death. So I just got the video to play you. Just check that you can see it. No, you can't see it. A minute. Bear with me. Share screen. I always hate it when children go missing, and it's not very nice. Before I play the video, housekeeping rules. When you come in, can you click like, subscribe, subscribe to all. I'll just put my banner across. Subscribe, like, and share, please, because the more the stories shared, the more I get into the YouTube algorithms. So if there's any cases you want to send me, it's truecrimefiles2026@gmail.com. I'd really appreciate it if you send me cases. It would really be helpful to me. Let me just see if I can get my chat up. There we go. Just do a test and hi. Just make sure. Yep. So I got it already. So I'll just go ahead and play this. And if anyone comes in, I can always stop the video and give them an update.
It was Vang who reported Elijah missing at about 11 a.m. on February 20th. Vang told investigators he went to take a nap at about 8 o'clock that morning. He said Elijah was in the room when he fell asleep, but had vanished when Vang woke up 3 hours later.
At this point, there's no evidence to suggest that Elijah was abducted, and we have no evidence that he had simply walked off.
New clue in the search for 3-year-old Elijah Vu. Two Rivers police confirmed searchers found a red and white plaid blanket that belonged to Elijah. They found that blanket earlier in the investigation. The news today is that they confirmed the blanket is his. Investigators say they found it on a rural road 3.7 miles from the apartment where Elijah was reported missing.
The day an Amber Alert went out burned into Jody's memory. But what really stuck out, how her daughter reacted.
She was calm. I think the investigators had called me that night, said she was cold. Whether she was detached or in denial, I don't know. It was the mama bear, the anger, the instinct, the hysteria that was missing that just hit me wrong.
I looked on Facebook and I saw the picture of the mother, real pretty woman with 2 kids. They looked happy. And I looked at the porch and I'm like, oh my God, that's my sister's.
This area had been searched several times, as had been reported, by law enforcement searches, by private searches, by the landowner, by air, and with various search and rescue teams. Despite all those previous efforts and throughout different conditions and changing seasons, we continued searching and even had continued searches scheduled as early as next week. What started out as a search for a missing boy is now a death investigation.
He indicated that the child was in his care and that on that morning he had gone to bed and brought the child with him into his room, closed the door, and that he woke up again at 11 o'clock in the morning and the child was missing.
Elijah looked such a happy boy, didn't he? Why haven't I got no sound? Perhaps it's not meant to have sound.
Elijah! Elijah! Elijah!
In the past hour, an Amber Alert for a missing 3-year-old boy.
I want you to take a look at your screen. This is Elijah View. The alert from the Wisconsin Department of Justice says Elijah vanished from his home in Two Rivers, just north of Manitowoc. His caregiver told police they last saw him around 8 a.m. Elijah is 3 feet tall and was wearing a gray sweatpants, a long sleeve, dark colored shirt, and red and green dinosaur slip-on shoes.
Tuesday night, 12 News was there when investigators collected a small slip-on shoe with dinosaurs on it outside this Two Rivers apartment building. Investigators also going through the building's dumpster. Online court records showing the man under arrest lives in the building.
The search for a missing 3-year-old in Two Rivers now moves into its second day.
We don't want to think about the bad stuff that may possibly have happened to him, and we're hopeful.
Words can't explain what we're going through. I know our hearts are very heavy right now at this time. You know, we're all trying to be very hopeful.
Mother of a missing 3-year-old under arrest and in court. 12 News has learned Katrina Bauer and a man, Jesse Vang, are being held on child neglect charges related to the disappearance of Elijah Vu.
On at least 2 occasions during interviews, she has provided false information on her whereabouts during the past week. She intentionally sent that child for disciplinary reasons for more than a week to the residence. She was aware of the tactics used and the lack of care provided.
It's now been 50 hours since authorities issued an Amber Alert for Elijah Vu. News Chopper 12 flew over Calumet County today.
News Chopper 12 capturing exclusive video of FBI agents in hazmat suits searching a landfill in Calumet County. Heavy machinery working near a blue tent. The FBI telling 12 News they're assisting Two Rivers police in their investigation of the missing boy, but would not say what, if anything, they found.
Chief, do you have the suspects right now? And where are the mother and father in all of this?
Sorry, we're not going to take any questions at this time. Thank you.
Oh, bit stern, wasn't it?
Heartbroken relatives are desperate to know more about Elijah's disappearance.
Our heart is still so heavy about it, and we really just want him found and safe. and back home.
Day 5 in the search for a missing 3-year-old Wisconsin boy. The search effort spanning multiple counties tonight. Dive teams searched waterways in 2 rivers today, while police, FBI agents, and volunteers combed a wooded area near where Elijah was last seen. Elijah's mother, Katrina Bauer, and a man named Jesse Vang are both accused of child neglect. Prosecutors say Bauer would send her son to Vang's home for discipline.
Despicable, isn't it,
Family
guys?
and I are requesting a no cash bail. They are the last 2 to have seen our baby Elijah.
Immediately following the hearings,
So we are searching the Shooting Park area, upper and lower.
Elijah's relatives continued their search for the boy throughout Manitowoc.
He's just a child, and, he's helpless. He's harmless, and just thinking of, where he could be, what kind of state he is in, just hoping that he's safe.
To those who may have information, your assistance is just not a contribution, but a lifeline of hope.
At this point, there's no evidence to suggest that Elijah was abducted, and we have no evidence that he had simply walked off.
I'm just going to put some pictures up there, guys. That was doing the memorial.
And ends with a 0. Police have it in their possession tonight, but detectives now need the public's help finding surveillance video of the car from February 19th between 2 and 9 p.m. That's the day before Elijah went missing. The 3-year-old had been staying at the home of his mother's boyfriend, Jesse Vang, at this 2 Rivers apartment building.
This is a terrible recording, guys. Let me see if I can.
Now, according to officials, the boy's mother sent him to that home so he could learn to, quote, be a man. Elijah's mother, 31-year-old Katrina Bauer, left her son in the care of a 39-year-old man named Jesse Vang. Vang told authorities that he was trying to correct Elijah's bad behavior, adding that the 3-year-old was afraid of him. Vang.
Of course he is. If you're mistreating a young toddler, of course they're going to be afraid of you. He's not his real dad, I don't think. But, you don't treat children like that, do you? You just don't. And, I'm heartbroken that he had to suffer the pain that he went through. And the mother, she's just equally as a monster as he is for sending him to Vane's place so that he can be sent there for punishment. So poor old Elijah, every time he goes to that house, he knows what's going to happen. He knows he's going to be put into pain.
Said he used timeouts to discipline Elijah, where he was forced to stand for 1 to 3 hours and required to pray. Documents also said Vang forced Elijah to take a cold shower and regularly threatened him with cold water for not complying. The boy's mother told police she left Elijah with Vang on February 12th and intended to pick him up on February 23rd. During that week, authorities say Bauer lied to police about her whereabouts twice. Her cell phone data proves it, they say, and gives investigators a clearer picture of her movement. On Tuesday, February 13th at about 9:30 p.m., Bauer messages Vang about meeting up for sex at his apartment in 2 Rivers. Hours later, during the early morning hours of Wednesday, February 14th, Bauer arrives at Vang's apartment at about 2:35 a.m. According to the amended criminal complaint, she leaves her 6-year-old daughter, who has autism, in the car alone for about an hour when temperatures were near freezing. At 3:13 a.m.,
Investigators say Bauer took a photo of Elijah lying on a bed. He had a, quote, blindfold over his eyes, appears to have bruising on his jawline and neck on the left side, as well as bruising on his upper left arm. The photo was deleted at about 4:12 a.m. Data shows Bauer leaving Two Rivers minutes after that. On Thursday, February 15th, a photo is shared on Facebook Messenger between Bauer and Vang. Shows Elijah wearing what appears to be a full diaper, standing in the corner with his hands in a praying position. On Friday, February 16th, Bauer told authorities she left Wisconsin Dells at about 6 or 7 that evening. Phone data shows she arrived in Manitowoc at about 11 p.m. Minutes later, she called Vang and stopped at Quick Trip. Around midnight, Bauer arrives at Vang's apartment. She told authorities she saw Elijah on the couch, but he was tired. On Saturday, February 17th at about 12:30 a.m., Bauer and Vang go to Manitowoc. Vang goes into Saucy's bar alone, while Bauer goes to Quick Trip. According to surveillance photos, police don't see a child in the vehicle. Police confirmed Bauer's 6-year-old daughter stayed in Wisconsin Dells, but Elijah was supposed to be in their care. At 1:55 a.m., Bauer and to his apartment in Two Rivers. At 5 a.m., Bauer leaves Two Rivers and goes back to Wisconsin Dells. About 24 hours later, Sunday, February 18th, Vang messages Bauer at 4:36 a.m., telling her she needs to trust him in his decisions to discipline Elijah, saying, quote, "He did fear me, but he didn't respect me. Now I'm making him respect me." 2 days later, on February 20th, Vang calls 911 to report Elijah missing at about 11 a.m. 3 weeks later, he remains missing.
Just in case you don't know what's been going on. So I can't remember where they got up to. Let's see. So on trying to search where I got to on my timeline. Yeah, so Elijah was forced to stand for hours, and Bain was threatening him with cold showers. And yeah, so he was sent a picture, and then after the picture was received, it was deleted. FBI offered a $15,000 reward for any information leading to Elijah's recovery or the arrest or conviction of those involved. March the 5th, 24, authorities conducted an extensive searches, including neighborhoods, rivers, landfills, Bauer's home in Wisconsin, K9 units, aerial drones, video surveillance was used, and then they identified a vehicle of interest, which is previous. So on March the 7th, Katrine Bauer initially was charged, upgraded from felony chronic child neglect, and a second child neglect charges is filed involving her 6-year-old daughter. Defense has filed a motion to modify bail and motion to dismiss count 1. State filed an amended criminal complaint. The state reads the statement from the victim's family and defendants. And then law enforcement discovers a red and white plaid blanket about 3.7 miles from Vang's apartment. And then March the 21st, Vang faces amended charges. Vang's child neglect charges is upgraded to chronic neglect following further investigations. But I'll let it carry on playing because this one keeps on.
I have known Katrina Bauer longer than anyone else, as I am her mother. At this time, I am asking the court to deny any bond modification for a multitude of reasons. I understand bond is not meant to be a punishment, but as an assurance to appear. While you have access to some of Katrina's records, There are records in other states, including Nevada and California, you are not seeing. She has contacts in other states that may be willing to assist her depending on the story she is telling. Her story always depends on her audience. At this time, rather than aligning in locating her son, she feels the need to reiterate what a good guy Jesse is and is fully defending him and his actions. By aligning with him, she could potentially have access to his extended family and ability to flee the area. Katrina routinely will blame anyone and everyone for what happens without taking responsibility for her actions. It goes without saying she is incapable of making appropriate judgments in everyday life, which is likely being available for future court dates and questioning. Katrina has no ties to the community.
As I say, both of them are monsters. My favourite saying is, every child deserves a parent, but not every parent deserves a child. And these two didn't deserve any children whatsoever.
When I asked her why she would go back to Jesse, she stated, I felt alone. I can assure you she is well aware of resources available, but she chose not to use them. She severed her relationship with me in October of 2022, so there is no family in the area. Katrina has struggled with depression and anxiety for many years, has a history of erratic behavior. I don't feel it's worth the risk to lower her bond, especially as the victim has not been found and many questions are unanswered. She does need to be held accountable for what rules out in the future. And I feel releasing her, she would be flight risk. I have been the victim on her verbal and emotional abuse for a very long time. If the court finds any reason to reduce her bail, I would like to be assured of my peace and safety with a court-ordered no contact and GPS monitoring.
New clue in the search for 3-year-old Elijah Vu. Two Rivers police confirm searchers found a red and white plaid blanket that belonged to Elijah. They found that blanket earlier in the investigation. The news today is that they confirmed the blanket is his. Investigators say they found it on a rural road 3.7 miles from the apartment where Elijah was reported missing.
I should have chosen
Just about a week after Elijah Vu went missing, a neighbor here tells me police found something near County Highway B in Manitowoc County. Today, we came back after police said in a press release it was Elijah's blanket.
I think it's a sign of hope to find him around here, and I think he's going to be close to this area.
Dustin Wright was one of several people searching the area after police confirmed they found Vu's blanket early in their investigation on Goodwin Road, east of Highway County B. That's nearly 4 miles from where he was reported missing. I spoke with a man who lives in the area. He tells me off camera, officials like the Manitowoc County Sheriff have done several searches in the area. They tell me the blanket is a sign of hope.
This is Wisconsin's toddler now. Everybody in Wisconsin is pretty much taking this toddler under their wing, and we want to just envelope him with protection and get him back where he belongs.
Keep searching. Don't give up.
You don't belong
give
to
up
the
hope on a
parents,
little
that's
child.
for sure.
We take him to the beach. He loved going to the beach. He was just a really sweet kid.
The day an Amber Alert went out burned into Jody's memory. Really stuck out how her daughter reacted.
She was calm. I think the investigators that called me that night said she was cold. Whether she was detached or in denial, I don't know. It was the mama bear, the anger, the instinct, the hysteria that was missing that just hit me wrong. And she always said Elijah was her little ray of sunshine. Her entire life revolved around those kids. I don't know what changed. I wish I could say that she relapsed. I don't even know that. Watching your kid fall is the hardest thing in the world. You always want what's best, but you can't get it. It's their life. So I don't know what broke.
Obviously, something broke in the parents.
Breaking story of the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office finding human skeletal remains in the town of Two Rivers.
Got to put my glasses on to read.
That body was found by a hunter on Saturday on private property. As you can see on this map here, it is smack between where Elijah was last seen and where his blanket was found.
This is why early intervention is needed on these child cases.
When I first heard about it, I just had a gut feeling about it. I don't know why. I just did.
Kathy Hasselman works on her sister's farm just across the street from where the remains were found. She was here when investigators came and began surveying the wooded area.
It's a very unsettling feeling that there's a body over there. I just saw the crime lab truck leaving, must have been about an hour ago, heading south with the cop cars behind them.
Public records show the farmhouse across the street used to be the home of Elijah's mother, Christina Bauer. Hasselman tells me she discovered that Bauer used to live on the property through social media.
I looked on Facebook and I saw the picture of the mother, real pretty woman with 2 kids. They looked happy.
Guys, I'm just going to take myself off screen in a minute because I need to get a jump on because I am freezing cold. But I'll carry on playing for you anyway.
And I looked at the porch and I'm like, oh my God, that's my sister's.
Last Saturday, Sheriff Hartwig called me immediately upon learning his deputies were responding to investigate a report of skeletal remains found by someone in the town of Two Rivers. With night falling near, the entire area was secured while a variety of resources were gathered to investigate. Ultimately, a forensic anthropologist with the Wisconsin State Crime Laboratories was able to confirm a skull and bones as human remains. These are the facts that I can share. The remains were found on private property by a person getting his land ready for the hunting season. This land was not on Manitou Girl Scout camp property, but rather a thick wooded area with heavy underbrush, just to the north.
Sorry, all of you heard me swear. Didn't mean to.
This location is just over 3 miles northwest of where he originally was reported missing.
I'm going to put my little heater on now.
This area had been searched several times, as had been reported by law enforcement searches, by private searches, by the landowner, by air, and with various search and rescue teams. Despite all those previous efforts and throughout different conditions and changing seasons, we continued searching and even had continued searches scheduled as early as next week.
You've got to be warmer now.
The remains found by the hunter and recovered by law enforcement were taken to the Wisconsin Crime Lab for DNA testing to identify the person. It is with a heavy heart that I announce to you today, those remains were identified as Elijah Vu. With that news and following this briefing, the Amber Alert will be canceled. This is not the outcome that we hoped for. The family's devastated, we're devastated, our community's devastated. I never met Elijah, but I watched that 3-year-old boy bring out the best in this community. I can't thank the public and our businesses enough. Thank you, DCI, for continuing to lead this investigation.
Before I carry on with this, I just want to go through some text messages that were exchanged between Jesse and Katrina. On the 14th of January, Bauer asked Vang to send a voice message telling victim child 1 that he's going to be put in timeout. Vang sends 2 short audio files telling victim child 1 to listen and asking him if he wants to go to a timeout. Vang messaged the victim 1 child needs a father figure. She needs a break from her kids and so that he can show her more tricks. Later on that day, in the evening, it's about 23:51 p.m., Bauer thanked Vang for helping her with her kids, especially victim child 1, because he can be a toad. Vang said he can't do too much for victim child 2, but he can teach victim child 1. Then on the 21st of January, at 7:21 p.m., Vang sent a 50-second video showing victim child 1 sitting on the couch answering questions from Vang about what had happened with the water. Victim child 1 stated victim child 2 did it. At 7:40, Vang messaged, "Okay, it's up to you. It's making it harder on victim child 1. Ha ha, you're breaking him down every time you come in. Ha ha." At 12:47 a.m., Bauer messaged, "Is he still up?" Then 10:54, Vang sent a 24-second video of which victim child 1 is being prompted by Vang to say the phrases that included, "I promise, Mummy, I love you. Sorry, I'm going to be a good boy. No more." That is really careless and heartbreaking. And on the 22nd of January, again in 2024, Vang sent a 12-second video showing victim child 1 saying, "Good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy," and so forth. A bit later on, Vang stated, "Pin this for next time he's bad there," and then sent a 23-second video showing victim child 1 wrapped in the red and white blanket. Vang prompted victim child 1 to say, "I'll be a good boy. I promise. I don't want to live with Uncle. No more, Uncle. I'll be good. Sorry." Bauer replied, "Oh," and Vang stated, "Let's see if he keeps to his word." Now, how these people can call themselves parents is absolutely crazy. Then they've sent a lot of messages between each other, I tell you. They were certainly, their phone was glued to their hands. Vang sent at 4:20, Vang sent a 20-second video showing victim child 1 whimpering, saying he wants to see Pam. Vang then messaged, "He's trying to manipulate me." Vang then sent another 6-second video showing child 1 being prompted by Vang to say, "I'm not going to say a word. No more bad words." Vang then messaged that victim child 1 keeps running out of the room door and not the front door, saying, "I'm going to be nice." Vang messaged victim child 1 was fake crying and that victim child 1 definitely spoiled. Vang sent another message about victim child 1 being a little faker and a crybaby. Bauer messaged about having a hard time disciplining him. Vang tells Bauer that she needs to stand her ground. Vang states that victim child 1 cries about everything. At 6:57 on the 22nd of January 24, Vang sent a 9-second video showing victim child 1 standing by the door in Vang's room. Vang asks him, "Why are you fake crying?" Oh gosh, what have I done here? A minute. "Why are you fake crying?" I lost my pointer. Vang approaches victim child 1 quickly and sits down and says, "I'll be a good boy." Another message remember, he's going in boot camp and I hate that when I tell him to come into the room. He's like, I don't hit me. And when I have to pick him up, he's, ow, ow, you're hurting me. Vang messaged that he's a faker, references to victim child 1, praying a few times. Bauer messaged that since they moved, victim child 1 has been so afraid of men. Well, I'm not surprised if she sent her son to him every single time for punishment. It's no wonder little Elijah was scared of men. Still again, on the 22nd of January, they were certainly busy on this day, I tell you. Vang sent a picture message showing victim child 1 with a red and black and white blanket on his shoulders, a message, but look who's awake. Bauer message, my heart feels like I've been shot. And Vang message that child victim 1 will be fine. Bauer message, it's hard on me too, you know, but I know what is for the best. So later that day, at 7 minutes past 11, Vang messaged his punishment from faking earlier, then sent a 15-second video showing victim child 1 in the dark bedroom saying, good boy, good boy, good boy. And that's repeated like 8, 9, 10 times. Bauer messaged if she can send him a voice message, but Vang says no more seeing him. He freaked out for like 3 hours earlier. The following day at 3:53 p.m., Vang messaged, okay, he's up. It's punishment from pissing me off with that fake shit earlier. Ow, don't hit me. Ow, you're hurting me. Vang sent a 16-second video showing victim child 1 rubbing his eyes and saying, good boy. Vang tells victim child 1 to keep going, and victim child 1 keeps on repeating, saying, good boy. It is, you know, astounding what they can do. At 10:45, Vang sent a YouTube link of annoying sound video, a message making him watch this because he keeps on crying, saying you want, and Bauer messaged the video is annoying and thanked Vang. So, you know, there is so many text messages. I can't possibly read them all, but they're always Vang's always sending like 6-7 second messages. Let's go towards some of the last ones because there is absolutely loads. So if we go to the 2nd of the 2nd, 24 at 9:31 p.m. Bauer messaged, what's the little guy doing? And Vang replied that Elijah was sitting on a chair saying, good boy. On the 3rd, the next morning at 7:40, Vang sent 2 photographs showing what appears to be Elijah sitting in a chair, folding his hands as if he was praying. Bauer messaged, he looks mad as F. Vang messaged that Elijah was sad and not mad. Vang then sent a 10-second video showing Elijah holding his hands up to his ear, like talking on the phone. Elijah being prompted by Vang to say, Mummy, come and get me, come and get me. Later that day, Vang sent 2 photographs showing Elijah looking at the camera with his hands folded like he's praying. Bauer messaged Vang again saying, thank you for doing this for us. And Vang replied, no problem, just keep the loyalty and respect. The 4th of February, 2024, Vang sent an image of and a 5-second video showing Elijah lying face down in a pillow, focusing on his ear. Vang messaged that he wanted to watch a video if he can hear Elijah breathing heavily. Disgraceful, it really is. On February the 18th, 2024, approximately 4:36 a.m., Vang messaged Bauer, I told you to trust me. I make sure he hates me and hates being here. Bauer responded, I don't want him to hate you, just to fear you. Vang responds, it's okay. Someone had to be the bad person. Bauer messaged, I know, but either way, he can fear you and respect you at the same time. Bang message, he did fear me, but he didn't respect me. Now I'm making him respect me. 19th of February 2024 at 12:21 p.m. Bang sent a video that was originally created on the 22nd of January, during which he prompted Elijah to say, "I'll be a good boy. I promise. I don't want to live with Uncle. No more. No more. No more, Uncle. I'll be a good boy, Mum. I'm so sorry." Bauer responded, "He looks traumatized. LMAO." At 12:28 p.m., Bang messaged that Elijah is in his timeout corner, and Bauer replied, "That's good. He deserves it." So this just goes to prove what horrible, horrible adults these people are. They are absolutely the nastiest monsters in this entire world. It is really sad. I've seen some sad cases, but this beats them all. But we go back to the video, but I just thought I'd enlighten you on some of the text messages between Bauer and Van, because it's despicable.
FBI for their support, and our local, state, and federal law enforcement and fire departments, as well as the numerous neighboring agencies. I'd also like to thank all the churches, schools, all the search and rescue groups, and our residents and the family members. The efforts of all of you and many others help bring conclusion to this phase of the investigation. What started out as a search for a missing boy is now a death investigation.
He indicated that victim child 1 had been staying with him, and Vang referred to as babysitting him. He confirmed that he was in a relationship with Katrina Bauer, and that victim child 1 had been staying with him as punishment for his bad behaviors back home.
Punishments with his behaviors with Ms. Bauer?
Correct.
Did he indicate specifically what kind of punishments were used?
Yes.
And what kind of punishments were used?
So throughout the course of the contacts with the police officers, he initially indicated that he was using timeouts with victim child 1 and then withholding things from him, such as milk, food, ice cream, that then later transitioned into that learning that victim child 1 was afraid of cold water, and that Vang would threaten the use of cold water on victim child 1 for punishment. In addition to that, Vang also indicated that he used standing and praying as a primary form of punishment with victim child 1. He further described that standing and praying would primarily be victim child 1 standing in the corner of Vang's bedroom, facing the corner by himself, with his hands folded in front of him, palms facing together, and praying for extended period of time, as well as standing for extended periods of time. At certain points during the conversation, he said that he would make him stand for an hour. Other times he mentioned that he would stand for 2 to 3 hours at a time. Additionally, he indicated that during this last stay, since February 12th, at the time of until February 20th, 2024, victim child 1 was not allowed to have access or play with any toys. In addition, Vang also indicated that he did not allow victim child 1 to have any contact with his mother, with the thought that of depriving the child of things would make him more appreciative of those things later on.
Was there a point in time where Ms. Bauer admitted to being in Two Rivers on February 14th?
Initially, she denied being in Two Rivers, however, later acknowledged that she was in Two Rivers on the early morning hours of February 14th, 2024.
When there was a review of the cell phone, were there any photographs that would substantiate her being in Two Rivers on that date?
Exhibit 2 is a copy of a deleted photo that was found in Katrina Bauer's cell phone. The video shows victim child 1 that appears to be laying on the couch or the futon. He's not wearing a t-shirt. He's partially covered up in a red, black, and white fuzzy blanket. Of note is there's a black blindfold over his eyes. And also of note is there appears to be marks or bruises along the side of his neck and near the elbow of his arm.
Were Katrina Bauer and Jesse Vang communicating in other means besides talking on the phone?
They're also text messaging on their phones and also using Facebook Messenger. I'll just clarify the records that we requested started December 1st of 2023 through February 20th. And during that time frame, approximately 2.5 months, there's well over 15,000 Facebook text messages alone between them.
In your review of those messagings between January of 2024 and February of 2024, were there conversations about discipline involving victim child 1?
Yes.
And we'll get into some specifics, but generally, what were some of the disciplines that were discussed between Mr. Vang and Ms. Bauer on these Facebook messages?
Some of the forms of discipline, like I mentioned before, was standing for extended periods of time, standing and praying in the corner, making him repeat phrases such as good boy, sorry mom, over and over several times. There was also some mention of sleep deprivation.
Was cold water mentioned as well?
Yes.
I'm going to get into some more specifics regarding these Facebook messages, okay? And some of the videos. Specifically, did you review some videos from January 22nd, 2024?
I did.
And what did that video depict?
It was a 9-second video of showing Elijah standing by the door of the apartment. And as it was believed to be Jesse Vang had approached him, victim child 1 seemed to cower and quickly sit down by the door and say, don't hit me.
What was the message around 20-11?
The message was sent by Jesse Vang indicating that victim child 1 was in boot camp, and he hates the fact that victim child 1 is a faker and a crier. And he hates the fact that when Jesse walks into the room, victim child 1 says, out, and don't hurt me.
Okay. What type of information did Dr. Pesca provide as far as the punishments?
Her diagnosis was that victim child 1 was diagnostic for physical abuse, psychological, emotional maltreatment, and neglect. She noted that the history provided by caregivers to law enforcement and messages to each other is consistent with torture.
I'm a special agent and I'm assigned to the Major Crimes Unit out of the Appleton Field Office.
As part of your investigation, did you also, you and other law enforcement officers review cell phone data from Mr. Vang's phone as well as associated phones with him?
Yes.
I'm going to go specifically to February 19th of 2024, okay? Was there a period of time that drew your interest?
Yes.
And what was that period of time?
Between 5:59 p.m. and 7:12 p.m. on February 19th. And there appeared to be no outgoing activity from the phones.
Did you also try and determine if Mr. Vang had any vehicles?
Yes.
Did you also try to determine if Mr. Vang had utilized any vehicles that weren't his?
Yes,
Were you able to locate any vehicles that he utilized that did not belong to him?
yes.
And do you know what kind of vehicle he utilized?
A 1997 Nissan Altima. That was beige and tan color.
Do you know what day he utilized that?
February 19th, 2024. Witness one indicated to the agent interviewing them that on February 18th, they had a conversation with the defendant. The defendant had been doing laundry and had asked to borrow witness one's vehicle on the 19th around 5 p.m. and indicated he needed it to provide or deliver money to another individual unknown.
And do you recall when the keys were provided to Mr. Vang?
On February 19th, sometime between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. So through a search by a criminal analyst, we were able to determine that on the 19th, that vehicle plate was indexed by a Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office deputy.
Did they give you a time approximately?
Approximately 6:46 p.m.
Were you able to determine where that sheriff's deputy was when that plate was ran?
Yes,
And where was that deputy?
in the location of Forest Avenue, near 24th Street and 22nd.
As a result of that information, did you try and obtain video?
Yes,
What area had video cameras that were of interest?
the St. Vincent de Paul store located in Row and 22nd.
And what did you observe on that video?
The video shows what was believed to be at the time the Nissan traveling north on Monroe at approximately 6:47 p.m. Towards 22nd, and then continuing north. And then the St. Vincent de Paul video shows the vehicle returning at approximately between 7:05 and 7:06 p.m. Yes, so the vehicle returned from the north, so it's traveling south on Forest Ave, and then went east on 22nd, and then turned into the parking lot of St. Vincent de Paul. The vehicle then pulled up along, would be the west side of the building of the store. You could see the Nissan Altima, the license plate, and then observed a male individual later identified as the defendant exit the driver's side door. At that point, the defendant then went to the rear driver's side door, opened that up, obtained a black object that appeared to be a suitcase. The defendant then walked to a side door of St. Vincent de Paul and laid that suitcase down. The defendant then seemed to take a double take at the suitcase and then returned back to the Nissan Altima, exiting the parking lot, traveling back north through the intersection.
I'm going to come back to the suitcase in a minute. You indicated you found the video from, or law enforcement found the video from St. Vincent de Paul. Did law enforcement also look at other areas for video that would depict this Nissan Altima?
Yes,
Were there any locations west of Two Rivers that had video?
there was an area on Johnston Drive.
Do you recall approximately what time that the vehicle had passed that business?
Approximately 6:21 p.m.
After 6:21 p.m., was there any video that depicted the Nissan?
Yes.
And where was that?
Another location was located at a power substation that was on Highway 310 on the north side of 310 to the east of Johnston.
Did you know the approximate time for that?
Approximately 6:41 p.m. There was another area observed on Hawthorne Ave, which Highway 310 turns into Hawthorne Ave as it enters into the city of Two Rivers. That was at a private residence. This would have been at approximately 6:44 p.m.
I'm going to go back to the suitcase that was dropped off at St. Vincent de Paul. Did officers go back to try and locate that suitcase?
Yes,
And were any black suitcases consistent with the video located?
yes.
And could you describe that suitcase for me?
It's a medium-sized suitcase with roller wheels on the bottom, black in color. It had a Jeep brand icon on the top part, front top part of the suitcase.
What type of testing was it submitted for?
DNA testing. From the interior of the suitcase, there was a single source male profile that was developed, and it was consistent with victim child 1.
That was on the interior of the suitcase?
Yes,
Was she able to do any other testing regarding types of fluid in the suitcase?
she conducted a presumptive test for saliva,
And what was the result of that?
positive.
Were you contacted on September 7th, 2024?
Yes,
And where were you contacted?
I was contacted by the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Office about possible skeletal human remains located in a wooded area in Manitowoc County.
Do you recall what roadway these remains were located by?
Yes,
What roadway?
Christy Bob Lane.
And you indicated that was in Manitowoc County, Wisconsin?
Yes,
Did you go out to look at the remains?
I did.
And did you bring anyone with you?
I did.
Who did you bring?
A forensic anthropologist, Dr. Jordan Karsten, who was also a member of the Wisconsin State Crime Laboratory.
And was Dr. Karsten able to give you any information on whether these were potential human remains or animal remains?
He identified the remains to be human skeletal remains and could initially observe that they appeared to be subadult.
And were there any injuries or anything of significance that was brought to your attention?
Yes.
What was that?
One, there was a heel fracture of the zygomatic process of the right temporal bone, which was described to me by Dr. Carson as being a right cheekbone. He explained that it was antemortem or prior to death, and that the healing of it would have showed that the injury would have had to have happened at least several weeks prior. He was also able to identify marks on it that indicated carnivore scavenging of the remains in the area, which was also consistent with when they were recovering the main remains. They weren't in an articulated order in the wooded area as they were scattered about, believed to be from carnivore scavenging.
This area, Christy Bob Lane, can you describe what kind of road this is?
Christy Bob Lane is a gravel road in a very rural wooded area of Manitowoc County. It's approximately 1 mile total before it ends, and it starts at Manitou Drive.
Was law enforcement contacted by anyone regarding the defendant's familiarity with Christy Bob Lane?
Yes, that owner had hired the defendant to conduct a pressure wash or power washing job at this individual's residence or property that they own. And this occurred in September of 2023.
Did law enforcement attempt to verify the route from the defendant's apartment on Michigan Road out to Christy Bob Lane and circling back past St. Vincent de Paul and the other areas where the video indicated that Nissan had passed?
Yes,
And was law enforcement able to travel that whole route in less than an hour?
yes,
Were there also search warrants and subpoenas submitted to Google and other Facebook, other entities to try and gain some information?
Yes.
Was there anything of interest as far as the Google Maps from February 19th of 2024?
Yes.
And what was of interest?
In a return from Google, in a section for my activity between the 18th and the 20th, there were Google recorded information that was zoomed in off of Chrissy Bob Lane, very near where the remains were recovered.
And was that on February 19th or February 18th?
February 18th and also February 19th in the morning hours.
And you indicated it was the area of Christie Bob Lane where the remains were found?
Yes.
As the parties have indicated, the purpose of a preliminary hearing is for the state to show that any felony was probably committed and that this defendant probably committed it. The state meets that burden, relatively low burden, by providing proof through testimony. In addition, at this stage, the court views the testimony in the light most favorable to the state. In this case, the court believes the state has provided sufficient testimony to meet that burden, and I will find probable cause that Mr. Vang committed a felony in Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, and I will find him over for further proceedings. We'll call State of Wisconsin versus Katrina Bauer, case number 24CF693, appearances. Good afternoon. The matter is set today for an initial appearance. Attorney Gratz, have you received a copy of the complaint?
We have, Your Honor. We would waive any formal reading. I did review all of the charges with Katrina. I also reviewed the probable cause preliminary hearing, and we would like to waive that at this time as well.
All right. Ms. Bauer, you heard your attorney indicate that she believed you wish to waive your right to a preliminary hearing. Is that true?
Yes.
How old are you, ma'am? How old are you, Ms. Bauer? And how many years in school have you completed?
11.
Are you currently receiving treatment for mental illness or disorder?
Yes.
Do you feel clear-headed and rational enough to understand what's taking place in court today? Do you understand that at a preliminary hearing, the state has the burden to show that any felony was probably committed and that you probably committed it?
Yes.
Do you understand that the state meets that burden by providing proof through testimony, and that if you had a preliminary hearing, your attorney would be able to cross-examine or ask questions of any witnesses called by the state?
Stage.
Yes.
Oh, blimey.
Do you understand that by waiving the preliminary hearing, you're not giving up any other rights, and you can still do things such as file motions or have a trial if you wanted? Has anyone threatened you or promised you anything to get you to waive your right to a preliminary hearing?
No.
Have you understood and answered truthfully all the questions I've asked? Is that a yes? We're having a hard time hearing you. You could just speak up a bit?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, with that, the court will find that Ms. Bauer is knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently waiving her right to a preliminary hearing. I have reviewed the criminal complaint and find that it does contain probable cause. All right, with that, then we are adjourned. Ms. Bauer, you may leave the room. Thank you.
I'll quickly do something, guys, for my next quick one. Amber. Just bear with me, guys. Right, so that is it for now. I will do a part 2 on this if I need to be, but I just need to do a quick Amber alert for a little 5-year-old girl, I think she is, Alicia Dawson. She's just been reported missing a couple hours ago. So I'm just going to quickly do that as a recorded one, not as a live. And then, because I've got to do some din-dins. Right, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, keep your notifications to all. And please put in the comments what you think of this. You're liking this video for the child and not for me. So it's just for little Elijah because he was horridly treated so badly by evil people. But I'm out on this one. Thank you very much for watching.